So earlier today, Jagex announced that RuneScape's monthly subscription cost is going up. I've already made 2 videos about this when I found out about it on my live stream, and a lot of my comments have been things like, it's only $1, what does it matter? Which is not incorrect, but if you don't play RuneScape, you're probably missing a lot of context, including things like RuneScape's accounts being different than World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV's, which if you don't play RuneScape, you'd have no way of knowing about. So in this video, I'm going to kind of talk about why this is a big deal, and I'm really targeting this for people who don't play RuneScape and probably don't know enough about the game, right? And this isn't a criticism, I get it. If you don't play RuneScape, you wouldn't know, but is this as important, right? So first of all, the prices have gone up a year and a half ago. Now, this isn't a system where we haven't increased our prices in 10 years. They did this a year and a half ago. So I don't know, like what would happen if RuneScape if World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV prices went up a year and a half ago? Would you still be as like, okay, we're going to accept it? Because it's now starting a precedent of prices going up every year and a half, which people aren't going to be okay with. People would stop playing the other two games if their prices were consistently going up like that. And that's what RuneScape is facing right now. Another thing to consider is that with the price now being $15 a month, that is the same price for RuneScape and World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV. Now, I completely understand that some people prefer WoW to Final Fantasy XIV, and you could argue which is a better value for $15 a month. Now you have to ask, is a RuneScape subscription equivalent to a WoW or Final Fantasy XIV standard subscription? As someone who plays RuneScape, I have played old school and RS3. I don't think they're equivalent. I don't think you get the same value out of it. Now, and that's an opinion. Some people are going to disagree. That's fine. Tell me in the comments. I don't care if you disagree. It's okay. But I think most people who don't play RuneScape are going to look at it and be like, that game is not equivalent to World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV. And the pricing disagrees with you. Another thing, this hasn't been mentioned as much, but I'm going to say it anyway. The 6-month subscription package is gone, right? And I think for me, I come back to MMOs periodically when there's updates, but I don't do it regularly. I just kind of get burnt out on MMOs. So now it's, do I do 1 year, which is a lot of money up front, and, I don't know if I want to play for a year, or do I do 1 month, which are now even more expensive. They're really, like, the 6-month was a good deal, and they just kind of got rid of it. I don't know why. They didn't have to. They just did. The second thing, and I think this is one of those, most people who don't play RuneScape are going to be aware of this. RuneScape has a bond. This is pretty close to World of Warcraft's token system, where you can use real-world money to get an in-game item, trade it to other players, and they can redeem that for game time. Right? If you know WoW token system, you understand RuneScape's bond. It's the same thing. Except a bond, which is now $10 by the way, only works for 2 weeks. It's not a month subscription, it's a 2-week subscription, which means you need 2 of them to get slightly less than a month of game time. It means for people who use this, their sub just now went up to $20 a month. That's a lot. I do not know any other MMORPG that does $20 a month for a standard subscription. I know with 14, you can get like extra retainers. There's probably some MMOs that have a deluxe subscription or something, but for just a standard 1 month, $20 is a lot, right? And I'm going to even say when I play 14, I just do the entry subscription. I don't need multiple characters. But that gets to the next issue. And this is another, if you don't play RuneScape, you don't know. Your subscription isn't tied to your account the same way it is in WoW and 14. It is tied to your character you redeem it on. And what this means is $1 a month just became $3 a month if you have multiple characters you play. And consider that. I have friends that play Final Fantasy XIV that play different, have like 3 characters because they like role-playing as different characters. And that's fine. I hope they have fun doing that. But they don't have to pay a bunch of extra money the same way a WoW player would have to do. Because WoW has, is it 12 classes now? So what if WoW players had to pay an extra $12 a month to be able to get the entire game? They wouldn't pay, that's ridiculous. Your price is almost doubling, right? And for RuneScape, there's a lot of different ways to play the game. Most people will have a standard subscription, and they'll have something called an Iron Man, which is pretty much an account that you just can't trade with other players. You're playing a solo player game. And then some players will do hardcore challenges, or they might do a group Iron Man where you can only trade with people you start the account with. And suddenly $1 a month grows really, really quickly, right? And this is, again, not just expensive, but it's expensive on the economy of the game, right? Because of the token, or they call it a bond, but it's the same thing, right? This is especially really bad if you live, especially in like a third world country, and getting these bonds is your main source of income. And that's something I am not well equipped enough to even talk about. We'd have to find somebody who studied that a lot more. And honestly, people with an economics degree would understand that better. But it's bad. And I think the final thing that's really like bringing RuneScape players down is that this is supposed to be sort of a golden age of RuneScape right now. Right? Old School is getting a lot of updates. They just had sailing. They had their first new skill in forever, and it was massive. The RuneScape was like the only game I played when sailing came out because I was super excited. And then I got burnt out. But also, RuneScape 3 is going through a bunch of balancing changes. They're getting rid of their microtransaction, which is probably part of the reason the cost is going up. And they're supposed to be bringing RuneScape 3 kind of up to par with modern MMOs. And it's really hard to be enthusiastic about that when prices are going up, especially when prices already went up about a year and a half ago, right? So suddenly this kind of golden age of RuneScape feels like your balloon just got deflated. And it's very defeating for people that play the game, right? And I feel like this is a bigger deal than Final Fantasy XIV or WoW getting an expansion, because RuneScape 3 and Old School just get regular updates. They don't get big expansions to bring in new players or to revitalize everything. This was kind of supposed to be their moment to do it. And increasing the cost of subscription really just deflated a lot of players who are just like, okay, I'm done with the game. They cancel the subscription, and, you know, I'll enjoy it for the rest of my 6-month sub, but I'm not going back after this. And I get that. It kind of just sucks for a game that's had a lot of problems for a long time and things were getting better, and suddenly be like, hey, we're increasing costs again, and we just did this a year and a half ago, so it might happen again in another year and a half. I don't know. It's kind of just, 6 different problems stacked on top of each other that are really defeating for RuneScape players. So that's kind of why this is a big deal. And I think for most people that play WoW in 14, if their prices were going up constantly and they were given a bunch of promises that things were going to get better, if the WoW token system radically changed like this, I think people who play these other MMOs would be upset too. So that's unfortunately it. This went out earlier today, so Jagex hasn't really responded yet. Funny enough, Jagex knew this was going to be so upsetting that they actually created a new Reddit account to make this announcement, because the mods who usually make this announcement didn't want to get their Reddit karma ruined by posting about this. So Jagex even knew this is going to go terribly, but I digress. Let me know what you think. If you play RuneScape or not, I'd be happy to hear some opinions from other people on this. So comment, do the YouTube stuff, subscribe if you liked this video, because I'm going to try to do more long-form content, and I do a lot of shorts, so thanks for being here and listening to all this. That's it. I'll see you all later. Have a good day. Bye.